My name is Maureen Dinkins, and today we will be doing 10 seated postures that any yogi can do. It means if you're new to yoga or even if you are an advanced practitioner, sometimes it just feels good to sit on the mat and stretch. And that's what we'll be doing today. I'm not going to call this a gentle yoga class because there will be some poses that are a little bit more intense. So if you have a strap, go ahead and grab it. And if you don't, grab a towel or something long enough to help you bind. So if you're ready, let's get started. So let's just start in a comfortable seated position. You can come with legs crossed. You can do it with legs straight. You can do it with the bottoms of your feet together. And you can even sit up on a pillow if that helps you. We're going to start in the very first position, which is just the basic position. The word asana means seat. Now we use the word asana to substitute for the word poses or postures, and that's what we call an asana class. When you go to a yoga studio or you're taking a class online and you're moving your body, those are called asanas or postures, and we do the postures so that we can sit for long periods of time comfortably. So we move the body through the aches and pains so that when we come to a still position, the body is comfortable and therefore the mind is not agitated. So let's start with the breath first. We're going to breathe in and out through the nose, creating that deep breathing with sound. Inhaling to fill the lungs completely and exhaling like you're fogging a mirror with your nose. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue to create that deep breathing with sound. In and out through the nose for the next few moments, creating a breath you'll keep throughout your practice today. When you're ready, open your eyes. Continue this breath throughout your practice today, and if you lose it, just turn the focus back to that deep breathing with sound. The very first seated posture is what we're doing right now, sitting in a comfortable cross-legged position. For some of you, it's not comfortable, but over time with practice, it will be comfortable. For those of you who are a little more advanced, you can take one leg and place that foot into the hip crease of the opposite leg, letting the left or right leg rest underneath. This is option 1. If you're a little bit more bendy, you're going to take that right foot into the left hip and take that left foot up and over into the right hip. This is called Lotus Posture or Padmasana. This is the ultimate posture. This is the posture we're working towards. We're working towards sitting in this posture for long periods of time so that we can meditate. That's really the purpose. So there are different limbs or principles to yoga. And once we've mastered the asanas, then we work towards focusing our attention single-mindedly so that we're not distracted, so that we can meditate. And meditation brings us to a whole new level. So let's sit in your cross-legged or Padmasana position for 5 breaths. You can bring your hands to heart center, or you can rest your hands on your knees with your thumb and index fingers together. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, and 5, and open the eyes. So Padmasana, posture number 1. From Padmasana, I like to move to Baddha Konasana. Baddha Konasana means bound lotus, but the way I remember that is Baddha, bottoms of the feet together. So let's release out of your cross-legged position and bring the bottoms of the feet together in what some people like to call a butterfly pose. We're going to move the flesh away from the sits bones. So pull your butt away from your sits bones. Pull your heels in as close to your tailbone as you can, and take the thumbs and place them to the arches of your feet. Take the rest of your hands and grab the tops of your feet. Press your elbows down into your thighs and fold forward. There are 2 variations of this pose. The first one is with a straight back as we work the belly towards the feet, pressing the elbows into the legs to open the hips and working the chin to the front edge of our mat. We're going to hold here for 5 breaths. One day, bringing your belly to your feet and your chin all the way to the floor. Breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. You should hold each posture for about 5 to 6 breaths, which is about 30 seconds, which is a good static stretch. The second variation of Baddha Konasana is with rounded backs. So we're going to press the elbows into the thighs, suck the belly in, and work the crown of your head to your toes as you continue to press your elbows down into your thighs. Breathing for 1. Chin touches the chest if you can. Shoulders move away from the ears. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, slowly come up. Bring your hands on the outsides of your legs, lift your knees, and hug your knees into your chest to give the inner thighs a little break. So that's your second position, Baddha Konasana. Those are 2 easy seated postures you can work on. To piggyback off of those poses and to work the inner thighs, but also to stretch the hamstrings and lower backs, we're going to move into Jhanushir Sasana A, which means head to knee posture. We do the right side first and then the left side. So to do Jhanushir Sasana, you're going to bring the bottom of your right foot into your left thigh and flex your left foot. The first variation is to bring your hands on either side of your knee, and as you exhale, you're going to walk your hands down your leg. Now it's a good time to grab that strap. If you can't grab your foot with both hands, wrap the strap around the bottom of your foot and grab either side of that strap or towel with both hands to pull yourself into this pose. If you can bind your hands around the bottom of your foot, go ahead. Many people will be up with the right shoulder. Drop that right shoulder, push the sits bones back into the mat, and drop your head to your knee for 5 breaths. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale, release your hands and walk your hands back up. So the second variation of Jhanushir Sasana is a side stretch pose. So what you're going to do is you're going to rest the back of your hand on the mat. If you can bring your forearm down and your elbow on the mat on the inside of your left thigh, go ahead. And then we're just going to inhale, reach up with the right hand and bring the arm by your ear. Notice this straight line up the side of my body. And then turn and look up towards your elbow. 5 breaths. Breathing for 1. Take the arm back a little bit more, open the chest 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, come up to seated. Let's spread the legs and take the other side. So we're going to bend that left foot, bend the left knee and bring in the bottom of that left foot into the right thigh. Flex your right foot, turn and square your shoulders over your right leg, and exhale, go ahead and walk your hands down the leg to grab your foot. Drop that left shoulder, and as you pull on that foot or strap, go ahead and bow your head to your knee for 5 slow, deep breaths. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, lift your head, and exhale, come on up. Drop the right hand and forearm onto the mat on the inside of your right leg. Inhale, reach the left arm up, and then bring the arm by your ear, creating that straight line up the left side of your body. Turn your head, look up, and if you can, take the arm back even more to get a deeper stretch. Keep the right foot flexed. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Inhale, come up, and exhale, let's spread the legs. So that third pose was Jhanushir Sasana. This next pose is called Upavishta Konasana, which means open angle pose. So we're going to spread the legs as wide as we can, but don't strain. Don't go to a place where your inner thighs are uncomfortable. And you can also lift up sitting on a blanket or a low pillow, and then flex those feet, trying to straighten your legs. Bring the hands to the middle, and we're just going to walk the hands forward, taking them as far forward as you can. So we're going to walk, inhale, lengthen your spine, exhale, see if you can walk those hands a little bit further in front of you. Find your stopping point, take a breath, then inhale again, and exhale, see if you can walk your hands as far forward, looking towards the fingers, hold for 5 breaths. Again, one day, bringing your belly to the floor and your chin to the mat, breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Lift your head and inhale. Slowly walk your hands back up to center. So that's the first variation of Upavishta Konasana. We're going to work on the balancing version of Upavishta Konasana. So let's bend the knees and bring the heels together and grab your big toes with your peace fingers. We're going to find those sits bones, balance into the sits bones, walk your heels in towards your torso. Lean back, lift your feet up. Okay, this is option 1. Just work on the balance, hold those toes. You may be a little bit wobbly. You may be a little bit saggy in the back. See how my back is rounded? You want to kind of create a nice straight spine, shoulders back, look up. This is option 1, Of course, option 2 is working on straightening those legs and looking up to the ceiling. Let's hold here. Breathing for 1, so wherever you are, you can have a little bit bent legs, a lot of straight legs, wherever it is. Go there and balance. 2, suck in that core. 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. Bring the feet back together. Go ahead and straighten the legs. So we did the first pose, which was a cross-legged or lotus posture. The second, or Padmasana, the second pose was Balasana Konasana. The third pose was Jhanushir Sasana. And this fourth pose was Upavishta Konasana. Posture number 5 is called Padmasana, which means Eastern stretch. So it's a basic forward fold. So go ahead and grab that strap and flex your feet with legs straight and exhale, fold forward. Again, if you need to sit on a pillow, go ahead. And as you fold forward, notice the stretch in your lower back. Reach forward, grab the strap around the bottoms of the feet, or grab your big toes with your peace fingers. There are 2 variations in this pose, so we're going to start with toes if you can. Inhale, head up. Exhale, pull on the toes. And the first variation, we're looking at the toes. We're trying to stretch that lower back. 5 breaths. Breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. Now on the second variation, you're just going to take your deepest, if that's outer edges of the feet, tops of the feet, or if you can interlace your fingers and bring them around the bottoms of the feet, go ahead. If you're holding that towel or strap, just go as far as you can. And in this pose, we're bowing the head down towards the knees. So it's a little bit more rounding of a back in the upper back area. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, head up. Exhale, release. I could sit in that posture for 10 or more breaths. I just love the stretch that it gives to my hamstrings. So again, if you want to hold these postures for a little bit longer because it feels good, or you know you need the stretch in that area, take your time. Do it at your own pace and breathe deeply. The next pose is called Western stretch, which is basically the opposite of Eastern stretch, forward fold. I'm going to demonstrate a variation of it for the beginners. So we're going to bring the hands back behind us, fingertips facing inward. And we're going to spread the feet about the width of the mat with the legs at about a 90-degree angle. You may have done this in elementary school, called crab pose. Eventually, you'll learn to do it with straight legs, but today we're just going to do it with bent knees. What it does is we're going to lift the hips, squeeze the shoulder blades, and we're stretching the arms and strengthening the arms, open the chest, head back, look up, squeeze your butt, lift those hips. Breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. Exhale and lower down and extend the legs. So that's posture number 7. So let's do a quick review. We did Padmasana number 1, Balasana Konasana number 2, Jhanushir Sasana number 3, Upavishta Konasana posture number 4. Right? I think so, yeah. And we did Padmasana posture number 5 and Purvottanasana posture number 6. So let's move on to posture number 7, Marichasana. There are several variations of this pose. Today we will be doing Marichasana A and C. So with the legs straight, you're going to bend your right knee. You want to make sure you have a good space between the right foot and the left thigh. So I'm going to turn this way so you can see how far away my foot is from my thigh. Now it's really good to grab that strap, but if you're close to mastering this pose. If you're not, you don't need the strap. I'll show you a variation. Marichasana A is a great stretch for the shoulders and hips. Take your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee and go ahead and reach for your left foot with your right hand, and use your left hand to help push you into this pose. If this is easy for you, take that right arm, wrap it around the knee. Take your left arm, wrap it around your back, and try to bind your hands. If you can't bind and you're close, try squeezing your shoulder blades together. If you're still a little bit of ways away, go ahead and grab that strap or towel, binding the hands, walking those hands closer together. Flex this left foot and bow your head to your left knee. Breathing for 1. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale, release, moving into Marichasana C, which is the twist. Keeping the legs exactly where they are, you can hug the right knee with your left arm, bringing your right arm behind your back to twist. This is option 1. Option 2, taking the arm to the outside of the right thigh. And option 3 is to wrap the arm around the leg and bind your hands. Again, if you're close, use that towel or strap. And if not, just go take one of the variations I just demonstrated. And no matter which pose you take, look over your right shoulder. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead, exhale and release. And straighten that right leg. All right, I'm going to turn around the other way so we can do the left side. Bend that left knee. Keep your foot about a hand's distance away from your right thigh. Take your left shoulder to the inside of your left knee. Reach forward and grab your right foot with your left hand, using your right hand to help keep you balanced. Option 1. Option 2, wrap that left arm around your leg and the right arm around your back to bind your hands. Flex that right foot and bow your head to your knee. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhaling, head up. Exhaling, go ahead, release the arms, come up and twist. Hug the left knee with the right arm, bring the right hand on the mat behind your back and twist. Jump the arm to the outside of that left thigh, or go ahead and wrap the arm around the leg. Wrap your left arm around your back and see if you can bind your hands. Look as far over your left shoulder as possible, giving those eyeballs a stretch. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and exhale, release. So there you have 7 different seated poses you can work on that are not too difficult. You can also use props. All right, we got 3 more poses left. This 8th pose is a super easy pose, and it is a great way to just get a gentle twist in. This is called Mermaid Pose. So the bottom of your right foot is going to touch the top of your left thigh and your left knee is bent back. You want to try to point your left toe so you're stretching through the ankle. For some of you that's going to be difficult, and over time you'll be able to point those toes. But if you need to flex the foot, that's okay. So we're going to do a gentle twist and stretch here. Right knee is in front, left foot is back. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left hand onto the right knee, right hand behind the back. And this is a twist. And you notice your left hip is going with you. Just gently twist to look over your right shoulder, holding here for 5 breaths. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Exhale, come to center. Take your left hand on the mat. So your left hand is by your left foot. Inhale, stretch your right arm over your head and gaze up. Feel that stretch all the way up the right side into the lower back and hip. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Inhale, come up, and exhale, release. Bring the legs together, straighten them, shake it out. Let's do the other side, taking the feet to the right side, bringing the bottom of your left foot onto the top of your right thigh, bending your right knee and trying to get the top of the right foot onto the mat. A maximum bend in that right leg. Go ahead, inhale, bring your right arm up, and exhale, place your right hand onto your left knee. Bring your left hand behind your back on the mat and twist, looking as far over your left shoulder as possible. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Exhale, come to center. Go ahead and place that right hand down next to the right shin or foot. And inhale, take the left arm over your head, creating that straight line up the left side of the body, and look up. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, come up, and exhale. Go ahead, straighten the legs and shake it out. Good. So that is pose number 8, Mermaid Pose. Pose number 9, which we just did the pose to prepare for the next one, is called Hero's Pose. And we'll start with a variation. So if you have a block pillow, I'm going to demonstrate using the foam roller. Sorry, Curry, I didn't mean to wake you up. The foam roller can also be helpful if you have one of these. First, we're going to stretch through the toes. So curl your toes under, bring your knees together. So you want the pads of your toes onto the mat and sit on your heels. This may be intense for you if you're pushing your hands into the mat. This is option 1. If you want to go a little bit deeper, work towards a more advanced position, bring those shoulders over the hips, putting the maximum weight into the feet to stretch through the toes and arches. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can bend back a little bit, open the chest, look up, 5 breaths. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come forward, and exhale, point the toes and just sit onto the heels. So that's a variation of Hero's Pose. That's option 1. Grab your block or your foam roller. You can even roll up a yoga mat and stick it underneath your butt. So you want to spread your knees about the width of your mat, okay? And my feet are spread that much too. And we're going to just put the foam roller between the knees. And we're just going to sit back onto the foam roller. So this is option 1 for Hero's Pose, and you're going to squeeze those knees together. If that's your maximum, then you can go ahead and stay there. If you're a little bit more bendy, you're going to bring the knees together. So if you're not using, or if you're just using a block, you can just stick the block under your butt. Knees together, feet wide. As you squat down, roll your calves away from your thighs and bring your butt down. Again, you can come into this pose and be sitting on a block or pillow, or you can go ahead and let your butt come down. As little children, they sit like this all the time, but I guess we all forget as we get older. Hands to your knees, sit up nice and tall, bow your chin to your chest, look down and breathe for 5. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, lift the head, and let's push into the hands, come onto the hands and knees. And just send one leg back, stretch it, shake it out. Send the other leg back, stretch it, shake it out. You can put that block to the side because we're going to do posture number 10. And this is a fan favorite. It's called Balasana, pose of the child. So bring your toes together, spread your knees as wide as your mat, sit on your heels, walk your hands to the front of your mat, and bow your forehead down. Now once your head is on the mat, you can wiggle your hands forward a little bit more to stretch through the shoulders and the ribs. Let your belly rest between your thighs. Let gravity take over in this pose. And we're going to hold here for 5 breaths. And breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, lift your head and walk your hands back up. And you can just bring your legs around for a seated position. So find that comfortable seated position, straight legs or crossed legs. Rest your hands on your knees or thighs. And you did it. You did 10 seated poses that you can practice anywhere or anytime. You don't need a mat. You don't need props. You can do yoga all by yourself. So just sit here for a moment. Let's rub our hands together. Bring your hands over your eyes and your forehead. Let your fingers rest on the top of your head by your hairline. Let all the energy that you've created for yourself today sink in. Thank yourself for giving yourself the gift of your yoga practice today, for taking this time for yourself. And then release the hands and bring your left hand on top of your right hand as you rest your hands down on your lap. Now, if you'd like to, you can lay down and take rest after this class, resting in Shavasana, or what we call Sukhasana rest pose, for a few moments. And I thank you for joining me today in this 10 poses that are seated class. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Maureen Dinkins. If you're enjoying these classes and you'd like to make a donation, go ahead and click the PayPal link in the banner of my YouTube channel. Now, let's do a closing Om, and then we can end the class for today. Bring your hands to heart center, Close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through your nose. May you go with peace. Namaste.